All right, so today my goal is for you to feel comfortable and ready for our quiz on Monday over 4.1 through 4.3. The instructions in the first section say, describe the inverse operation of the following values. Raise your hand if you remember what inverse means. Aubrey, what's it mean?
Opposite.
Opposite. Everyone take your red pen, and I want you to fill in that blank right there, opposite. Now, this is something super important you're going to want to know, so if you would also take your red pen and draw a red fluffy cloud around these parts of your notes that says inverse means opposite. So let's talk about what some of these opposites would be. Zariana, what is the opposite of subtracting by 15? Adding by 15. Everyone put a little add and 15. Christopher, on the right side, what's the opposite of adding by 8? Subtracting by 8. Lexi, next one, multiplying by 10. What is the opposite or the inverse operation of multiplying by 10?
Dividing by 10.
Very good. And the final one, Halen, what is the opposite of dividing by 6?
Multiplying by 6.
Multiplying by 6 is correct. All right, so section number 2 says solve the equation and check your solution. First things first, Heather, identify the variable. What's the variable on problem A? X. What is not allowing X to be alone? Okay, now remember, we're going to use these words. Add by 2, subtract by 2, multiply by 2, or divide by 2? Add by 2. What is the opposite of add by 2? Subtract by 2. Class, what you do to one side? You have to be fair and do it to the other side. I'm going to drop down my equal sign. Remember, the last few lessons we have talked about the importance of neat work, so make sure you're dropping down that equal sign directly below. All right, Heather, what happens over here on the right-hand side? Sorry, the left side. That does cancel out, okay? And what are we left with? Just plain old X. Now, on the right-hand side, what is this answer? 12 minus 2. 10. Very good. So the correct answer is X equals 10. Zion, how do I check that problem? We are going to write the original problem. It says X plus 2 equals 12, but now we know what X is. Zion, what is X? 10. So we're going to get rid of that X and plug in a 10. Now let's work on this. Zion, what's 10 plus 2? 12. Is this a true statement, 12 equals 12? Yes. Give yourself a mini check mark because it did check out. I would like you guys to try problem B on your own. All right, Aubrey, identify the variable. Y. What is not allowing Y to be alone?
Subtract by 5.6.
How do I get rid of subtract by 5.6? What's the opposite of subtract by 5.6? Add by 5.6. Okay, we're going to be fair and do it to both sides. All right, so we know this cancels out. Aubrey, what am I left with? Equals 12.8. Kyla, check it for me, please.
12, instead of the y, you replace it with 12.8 minus, subtracted by 5.6 equals 7.2.
All right, and what is 12.8 minus 5.6?
7.2.
7.2. That means that it checked out and your work is good. Okay, so problem C comes from our 4.2 flipped classroom. All right, so can someone tell me, how do I get rid of multiply by 4/5, class?
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4/5. Okay, so this was in the lesson. But if I have to divide by 4/5, we know we're not allowed to divide fractions, so you would have to KFC, keep the first, flip the second, and change the operation. So basically what I taught you in that video was you are allowed to simply multiply by the reciprocal, and that's the same thing as doing all that work. Okay, so that's just one of those rules you can kind of memorize. Now, if I multiply the left side by the reciprocal, I also have to multiply the right side by the reciprocal. If you're looking at me thinking, I have no idea what she means by this, go back and watch that 4.2 flipped classroom that's in our Google Classroom, okay? This also means over 1. Okay, so Zion, what happens over here? 5/4 times 4/5 x. Very good. All of this cancels out to 1s, and you're left just with plain old x. Zion, let's talk about this over here. Can I cross-reduce anything?
Yes, the 4 and 8.
What did the 4 and 8 become?
The 4 becomes a 1 and the 8 becomes
Okay, very good. So now I have -2 times +5. Zion, what does that equal?
a 2. What you said?
It's a negative times a positive. -10 is correct. Okay, let's box that in. All right, now let's go ahead and check it. How do I check this problem, Kaylin?
You put 4 over 5 times -10.
Very good. And you could put -10 over 1 if you want, and then we know equals -8. Kaylin, can I cross-reduce anything?
The 10 and the 5.
What do they become?
The 10 becomes a 2 and the 5 becomes a 1.
Okay, so this would still be a -2.
Yeah. And then it would be -8.
Very good.
8 equals -8.
-8 does equal -8, so it does check out. All right, let's go on to the next one. Addison, identify the variable. What is it? M, okay. What is not allowing M to be alone? What about the 5? Which one of these words up here on our board? Divide by 5. Addison, what's the opposite of divide by 5? Very good. We're going to multiply by 5 on the right side to get rid of that, which means I also have to multiply by 5 on the left side. Okay, I'm going to drop down that equal sign. Addison, let's work on the left side. What's 5 times 6? 30. And what happens over here? It cancels out because 5 divided by 5 is 1, and I'm left with 1m. Okay, so 30 equals m. Caleb, how do I check this?
You take this, rewrite the question.
Rewrite the original problem. And what can I replace that m with?
30.
A 30, because we found our answer is 30.
So 6 equals 30 over 5.
And what is 30 divided by 5?
6.
That is correct, so it does check out. All right, guys, what is not allowing the r to be alone? What about the -7?
It's multiplied by.
Okay, here's what I want you to remember. If you have something that looks like this, 5x, does that mean 5 plus x, 5 minus x, 5 times x, or 5 divided by x? That means multiply, okay? So this right here means you're multiplying -7 times r. How do I get rid of multiply by -7, class? Divide by, okay, here's what a lot of people did on their homework and now. They divided by 7. Here's the deal. If this says multiply by -7, the opposite of multiply by -7 is divide by -7. So if you didn't do that when you just did that problem, make sure you do that for me, okay? Now here's why. We're trying to get rid of this. So -7 divided by itself equals 1r. Now, class, what is 28 divided by -7? -4. Okay, so now we'll plug that back in. -7 times -4. If I have two negatives multiplied together, will my answer be positive or negative? It will be positive because 2 is an even number, and if you have an even number of negative signs, your answer is going to be positive. So this is correct. 28 equals 28. If you did not get that, please erase it and fix it. All right, Caleb, identify the variable on problem F.
Variable 1.
A variable is a letter. What is my letter?
Oh, W.
W. What is not allowing W to be alone on the right side?
1/6.
What about the 1/6?
Less. Add.
Add by 1/6. How do I get rid of add by 1/6?
Subtract.
Very good. We're going to subtract by 1/6 on both sides. Drop down the equal sign. Caleb, focus for me on the left side. What is 2/6 minus 1/6? 1/6 is correct. What happens on the right side?
It cancels out.
Those cancel out. 1/6, then -1/6 equals 0, and you're left with W. Christopher, check this for me.
2, 6 equals W plus, 1 6 plus 1 6.
Good job. So we're just replacing that W with a sixth. Drop down the 2 6, drop down the equal sign. Caleb, what is 1/6 plus 1/6? 2 6. Class, does 2 6 equal 2 6?
Yes.
Give yourself a mini check mark because it did check out. All right, next section, number 3, says to write the word sentence as an equation. Who could help me write this as an equation? A number added to 2 totals 8. Zariana, what should it say?
X plus 2 equals 18.
18. Very good. Okay. Who would like to do the next one for me? A number minus 10 is 22. Christopher.
X minus 10. Wait.
Very good. We have one final one left. A number divided by 6 equals 3. Halen, what do we always do for divided by?
Fraction bar.
We are going to use a fraction bar. Okay, remember, I don't want to see this little division sign. I would like to see a fraction bar. Go ahead.
X over 6 equals 3.
X over 6 equals 3. That is correct. All right, moving on to section 4 on the back side. Solve these two-step equations. First things first, everyone. Identify your variable. N. There are two things that are not allowing the n to be alone. This add by 5 and this multiply by 5. Of those 5s, who is the n's best friend?
5.
Which 5? The multiply by 5, okay? That's attached to him. It's very close to him, okay? Draw a little red heart around him. That means keep that 5 as long as you possibly can. So instead, I've got to get rid of this 5. That means add by 5. What's the opposite of add by 5, class? Okay, what you do to one side, you have to be fair and do to the other side. Lexi, tell me what to do.
Well, you're going to subtract 12 and 5 and get, 20 and 5 and get 15. And then the other one cancels out, and so you'll rewrite it. 5 and equals 15.
Excellent. Am I finished? No, the whole goal is to get the variable by itself. Lexi, how do I get rid of that multiply by 5?
You're going to divide by 5.
Very good. Remember, we use a fraction bar to show divide by 5. Lexi, keep going.
You have to divide by 5 on both sides, and the first one it cancels out, so you just get n, and then 15 divided by 5 is 3.
Excellent. Now, if you look in the instructions, it does not ask us to check it. Therefore, you don't have to check it. But sometimes, even if it doesn't, you might still want to check it. So let's just mentally check this. If I were to plug this 3 in up there, what is 5 times 3? 15. And then if I add 5, what's 15 plus 5? 20. Is that what we wanted? Yeah, so even though we didn't write it down, we still checked it mentally, and it did check out. Once again, even if it doesn't tell you to check it, you can still check it if you would like. All right, let's look at problem B. It says 10y minus 6y equals 24. Kaylin, what should I do before I do anything else?
You have to add your like term.
Good job. This is the y family, and that is the y family. So we're going to combine those like terms before we start working out the problem. Kaylin, what is 10y minus 6y?
4y.
4y. Now we have a normal looking problem. 4y equals 24. Kaylin, keep going. What should I do?
Divide by 4.
Very good. We're going to get rid of that multiply by 4, so we divide by 4 on both sides.
That one cancels out, so it's just y and then it's 6.
Y equals 6. Everyone box that in. Now, once again, you do not have to check, but if I wanted to check, let's talk about this right here. What is 10 times 6? 10 times 6?
60.
60 minus, what would 6 times 6 be? 36. All right, so mentally you can figure this out. You can do it on paper or you can do it in your calculator. Guys, what is 60 minus 36? Is that what I wanted it to be? Yes, so it did check out. All right, we have one final two-step equation. I want you to try problem C on your own. First things first, there are two things that are not allowing this x to be alone. The divide by 3 and the add by 1. Who is the x's best friend, the 3 or the 1?
3.
The 3. Why? Because it's attached to it. A lot of you guys that just did that, you tried to get rid of the 3 first. You cannot get rid of the 3 first. You have to get rid of the add by 1 first. Anson, how do I get rid of add by 1?
Subtract by 1.
Subtract by 1. So I'm going to subtract by 1 on both sides.
Thank you.
Now I am left with x divided by 3 equals, class, what's 3 minus 1? 2. How many of you would say you got this far? What is not allowing x to be alone, class? What about the 3? Divide by 3. How do I get rid of divide by 3?
Multiply by 3.
I have to multiply both sides by 3. How many of you would say that's where you made your mistake? Okay? 3 divided by 3 cancels out to 1. 1x equals, guys, what's 2 times 3? 6. Now we could check this out. If I put the 6 up here, 6 divided by 3 equals 2. 2 plus 1 does, in fact, equal 3. So the correct answer is 6. All right, we've got 2 modeling real-life problems here we're going to go through. You have $25 in your bank account. You earned some money on the weekend selling lemonade, and you deposit it into your account. Then you go out and you buy 4 bags of Takis that totals $9 altogether. Now, you have $55 in your bank account. How much money did you earn selling lemonade? You must show an equation to represent the situation. That last part right there just means you need to add and subtract something and have an equal sign. All right, so let's break down the information. Let's start at the very beginning. How much money did we start off with, class?
$25.
$25. So let's write that down. We started with $25. The next part says, you earned some money on the weekend selling lemonade. If you earn money, should you add, subtract, multiply, or divide it? Add it. Do we know how much money we are earning? No, it's a mystery. So I'm either going to put M for money or M for mystery. That's up to you. Now you could put any variable. Doesn't matter. But it's an unknown amount. Let's keep going. Then you go out and you buy 4 bags of Takis for $9. Guys, if you're buying something, is that going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide your money? Subtract. You're losing that money because you are giving it away to buy some Takis. So minus $9. Now, how much does it say you have? $55. That means equals $55. That's how much you have in the end after this whole problem goes. Notice, this said, you must show an equation to represent the situation. That's what we just did. This is our equation. You have add, subtract, you have an x, you have an equal sign. That's our equation. So now we're going to combine the like terms on the left side. What should I underline that's in the same family on the left side, class? The constant family, $25 and negative $9. And then I'll circle this M because the M is all by itself. All right, so right now I want you guys to combine your constants, and I'd like you to try to discover what is M. I want you to figure out how much money you earned selling lemonade.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I combine these two constants together, we know that that's going to be $16. Okay, I also still need to bring down plus M equals $55. Still, it is not by itself. How do I get M by itself?
Subtract.
I'm going to have to get rid of this add by 16. So I will subtract by $16 on both sides. This cancels out. This is what a lot of you just told me. M equals 39. Unfortunately, it asked how much money did you earn? So what do you need? I need units attached.
I earned $30.
It should have been $39, not just 39.
Someone didn't have that there.
All right, final modeling real life problem says the temperature at 6 a.m. is 25 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature rises 3 degrees every hour. What time will the temperature be 34 degrees Fahrenheit? Once again, you must show an equation to represent the situation. Remember, an equation is just an add, subtract, multiply, divide kind of problem with an equal sign, okay? So, we had a problem just like this in our flipped classroom over 4.2. So if you want to go over some kind of review, you can go back to 4.2 and see exactly how we did this problem, okay? Let's figure out what the temperature was at 6 a.m. What was it, class? 25 degrees. Now here's the deal. This is what I've seen a lot of. 25 degrees. What's wrong with that? It looks like a big zero, okay? So remember, degrees should be a small circle in the top right hand of the number, okay? Next up, it says the temperature rises 3 degrees Fahrenheit every hour. If something rises, is that going to be add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Add. You are going to add 3 degrees every single hour, or per hour. That means you have to multiply it times every hour. So I'm going to put H for hour. 3 times H, 3 per hour. It says, what time will the temperature be 34 degrees? So I want it to be 34 degrees. So we're going to say equals 34 degrees. I'd like you guys to try to figure out what the answer is. This is what the question asks. What time will the temperature be 34 degrees Fahrenheit? You guys try it on your own. All right, in this case, once again, our whole goal is to get the variable by itself. Add by 25 degrees and multiply by 3 is not letting it be alone. So this is the best friend. So I have to get rid of add by 25 first. I'm going to subtract by 25 on both sides. How many of you would say you did this much so far? Okay, this cancels out, and I'm left with 3h equals, guys, what's 34 minus 25? 9. I still have not discovered what h is. I have to get rid of multiply by 3. So I have to divide by 3. This is what a lot of people said. H equals 3, and they told me that was their answer. If I go back, this is what I need to see. I highlighted, what time will the temperature be 34 degrees? So then some people said this. Oh, I'll just say it's 3 o'clock. No. You have to figure out what that 3 means. That 3 means 3 hours later. If we see the temperature starts at 6 a.m., guys, what would 3 hours later be?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. So the correct answer is 9 a.m.
Wait, so I got that right?
All right, guys, if you understand these green notes, you will do great over 4.1 to 4.3 for your quiz on Monday.